dangle like this. Just like
I shouldn't dangle at 6'3".
yeah.
What's this kind of chairs? This is Chewbacca chair.
You're pretty tall. Taller than I expected.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you at our tables.
That would have been the best panel ever. If you could have done that for the entire 50 minutes.
That was Chewbacca on the toilet. So I did that for you.
A rough after some like Chipotle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
With Chewbacca Polty.
Well, thank you guys for being here. Have you guys ever been to Virginia before?
I have been to Virginia. I have not been to Richmond, though.
So the first time in Richmond.
Right.
What about?
I have never been to Virginia. I love it. It's beautiful.
It is?
Yeah,
It
it
is.
really is, yeah.
So when you guys get to come and do conventions such as this, what things do you get excited about? Is there any fandoms that you really are getting excited to see when you come to a convention?
Yeah. When I did, I met Lee Majors, the $6 Million Man. So that was my childhood. So I was excited about that. Rikki likes Doctor Who. Ricky's a Doctor Who fan.
Really?
Yeah, it's okay, but I'm not like I usually, if I'm at a convention, I usually try to get a little time to leave where I'm signing and go look for like old TSR D&D books and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because there's a lot of them, and I don't have a bunch.
I look for pictures of Gir.
Right. I go
And
in
I only
and,
just have to look to the right, and there they are.
and then I usually just go over to Richard's while he's doing that, and I
steals my
throw
pictures.
away all of his prints.
Yes,
Because he likes that. It's funny to him.
So you guys are a great duo. I like this chemistry so far. Now, I'm sure this question is something that you get a lot, and I figured we just go ahead and get it out of the way. at the
No,
top.
I am not George Clooney, but people do make
I
that
thought you were Tom
mistake
Cruise.
often. And Tom Cruise. Most people mistake me for Tom Cruise and George Clooney.
Will we ever see an Invader Zim TV series ever again? Do you think it's possible?
Anything's possible. The movie came back. I mean,
Yeah.
I think we had a movie after 17 years, so who knows? 17 years from now.
Ricky and I just kind of wait for the phone to ring when it comes to that stuff.
Right.
We're not usually in on the decision-making process of that.
Just
We-
cobwebs going between us
Yeah,
and the phone.
that's right. Hey, Gir, did he
But you-
call you yet?
But you are willing to.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, what else are we going to do, right?
Right, yeah.
I mean, Invader Zim obviously is still extremely popular. I mean, you still have, to this day, merchandise being released of Invader Zim, so the audience is still there.
Yeah, well, the Florpus movie definitely kick-started Hot Topic again.
Yeah,
So that
especially-
was nice. I mean, that's right. But, yeah, I mean, I never say never, although I just said never twice. That made 3 times.
Jeez,
But
you
I
just
know,
ruined it.
I know. But we would love to do it again. In fact, we were hoping it was, but, you know, it's always about Nickelodeon getting together with Jonan and them seeing eye to eye, and now with their deal with Netflix. Hopefully we'll see something. We
That
never.
was a James Bond movie. Never say never.
You know what? When I was like 17 years old, I worked in a movie theater located at 12136 Ventura Boulevard, 1F Block, west of Volcano in Studio City. Today, we're proud to present Barbara Streisand.
Oh, I never went there.
PG screen, yeah.
Good memory.
Thank you. And the movie that was playing was Never Say Never Again. It's the one where
Right.
Sean Connery came back
Yes.
to do it. Yeah. And
He was old. He was old Bond.
He was old Bond.
Yeah.
He was old Bond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the title. I'm not really into a lot
He
of.
was before he became Bane.
I'm not really into a lot of James Bond movies, but I always like their titles. Like I always want to make my own James Bond title.
Like what?
Like,
Enter the Florpus?
well, you know, it's always like, never life your death again. You know. Next, I never left your death. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. What would you name a James Bond film?
Hey, it's me, James Bond.
Hey, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, oh.
Hey! Da-dun, da-dun.
You guys don't need me up here. What do you need me for?
Hi, Nathan.
Do you guys like the format of Netflix? So did you enjoy that the Invader Zim movie went onto Netflix, or would you rather that been a TV?
I'm glad
I
that
love
somebody.
the Netflix, yeah.
I'm glad that somebody showed it.
Yeah, because we just didn't know when it was going to come out.
That's
And the
good.
reason I like the Netflix format is because you can play it over and over and over again, you know, on demand. But there was also no commercial breaks in it, and so when there's no commercial breaks, it builds, and so the excitement, the energy, and everything is able to make it all the way from beginning to end without breaking for commercials, which is why I liked it.
And how long of a process was that movie? What year? did that
2 years to negotiate and 2 years to make it.
Wow.
So it's about 4 years altogether. Yeah.
Is that a typical time frame for something like that? Oh, okay.
Nothing in the Zim world is typical time frame.
It shouldn't even exist.
It shouldn't
this
take
world.
that long. We were kind of in the same boat as Rocko's Modern Life, because
Yes.
both of
Very
those kind
small
of
boat.
started at the same time,
It's a fishing boat.
and we were in the same dilemma. Are we going to air, or when are we going to air, and how come we don't have a release date or anything? Well, it turns out that they were making a deal with Netflix at that time, so that was when it became the Rocko's Modern Life and the Invader Zim deal that happened
Yeah.
on Netflix.
I always feel like Nickelodeon, and not dogging on Nickelodeon at all or anything, but I always feel like they had shows that were ahead of their time.
You're right on. Another show I did, Angry Beavers, was ahead of its time also. We were there again. Thank you. Thank you.
In the future, there will be beaver times.
Yes, Beaver Times. You know, we did a lot of things on Angry Beavers they really hadn't done. If you look at Angry Beavers, we're probably the first show that we were allowed to constantly overlap each other in animation, which you don't usually don't talk until the other person's done. But because Mitch Schauer, the creator, wanted it to feel like real brothers, we just always talked over each other, which is one of my favorite things about that show. So.
No, it's a classic show, and like we were just saying, another show that's ahead of its time, and I feel like that kind of falls in the category of Rocko's Modern Life or Ren and Stimpy type of situation.
Yes.
Do you think Invader Zim will ever have a right time?
Well, you know,
Or do you think it'll always be ahead of its time?
I think it will always be ahead of its time because it was really the forerunner of shows like Rick and Morty, Steven Universe, all those shows. All those people were fans of the show or had worked on the show.
Yeah.
And then we kind of carved the path, and then that led the way to those other shows that came after us. And so you wonder, is the Zim time past? Because, you know, we went as far as we were allowed to go, which was not as far as the current shows are allowed to go. But I don't think, I think Zim is timeless, so I think we could do it anytime.
Absolutely.
In fact, if you look at the movie, a lot of people were saying, oh, this is a great finale to the series, but it's not. It's just one epic episode.
Screaming is timeless.
Screaming. It's ahead of its scream.
Yeah. It's timeless. You can
So
scream
I'm
anytime.
curious, before I get into some audience questions here, how did you two get into voice acting? Did you start off voice acting, or did you start off in front of a camera? Like,
Through murder.
I like that.
Tell us that story, Rikki.
Well, you know, the easiest way to get a job as a voice actor, and this is a secret nobody really talks about, is you just wait for a busload of voice actors to go off a cliff. Sometimes those, you know, the brakes don't work for some reason.
Thank you,
Anyways.
Virginia! Woo! Hello, Richmond!
I was originally going to paint the show, which I did do that too, and my
Are you all right?
my watch is calling me.
I'm calling you, Rikki.
No.
You just.
If you need
I'm
to answer
sitting
it, that's
right
fine.
here. I'm sitting right here, and you purposely sent my call to voicemail.
No.
Now I know.
No. All right, it's declined. Anyways, so.
How you were a painter.
Yes.
Oh yes. So
and
I
a
was.
sculptor.
Yes. And Jonah, the creator of the show, basically asked
Yes.
me to audition for Gir because he heard something in my voice that he said to him sounded like what he thought Gir sounded like. So I said, okay, are you asking me to audition for this part? He said, well, I guess you couldn't screw it up more than anyone else. And I said, okay. So I did, and apparently I screwed it up enough where he liked it. That was 1998. Richard, what's your story?
Well, I'd started as an on-camera actor at 10, way, way, way long ago, and I did a lot of TV shows and commercials in the 70s and 80s. You know, Head of the Class, You Can't Take It With You, Different Strokes, stuff like that. And then in the 80s, I kind of hit my stride in teen films. I did a lot of teen films. The most notable was one called Summer School with Mark Harmon and Kirstie Alley, directed by Carl Reiner, and I played a nerd, so it was a stretch. And then...
I
is
saw that movie.
I'm just kidding.
I saw that movie on like Cinemax in the 80s. And I was like,
You were hoping it was like one of those late night.
sure,
Cinemax
yeah. You were
movies,
like,
yeah.
oh, it's booby time.
Summer school. Ooh. And then around 1988, I kind of changed my focus to voiceover. And when I discovered animation, it was like, yeah, this is where I want to be. That's why I've been doing that. I've been doing it now for 30 some odd years, voiceover.
I believe you had a small role in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Small role in Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, that's right, because I played a little robot named Alpha 5. Thank you.
And by small, I mean huge role.
Yes, thank you. I know. Yes, thank you very much. Yeah, I was Alpha 5. That was around that time that I kind of switched over to voiceover. And of course, that was more of a dubbing job because I just talked when the lights moved. But whereas when I did like Angry Beavers, which was the first full-time series I got, it was, everything coming out of me. Wasn't just matching the lights.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Alpha 5 had a weird head. Just saying.
Grr, why
like
was there bacon in the soup?
It's like a pizza or something.
Yes. It was a pizza. And then, what was I saying about, voiceover. But I still continue to do on-camera work today. I was the Green Grapes in the Fruit of the Loom commercials.
Rode a horse.
I rode a horse. I was in The Informant. I played Matt Damon's attorney. And
Had a beard.
I had a beard. And Crazy Stupid Love, I was in that. So
Didn't have a beard.
I did not have a beard. And so I still continue to do both. But my true love is stage acting. It's still my favorite.
Beard
musical
and
theater.
beardless.
Yeah, beard and beardless, yeah.
No grapes.
No grapes.
You're a huge fan of him, I take it.
Yeah, he's huge. He's huge.
Let's get into some of these audience questions.
You're a sad clown by the sea.
First one.
You mentioned Enter the Florpus. You also, I think you mentioned like there were some scenes that were removed from the final cut. That would.
You're asking about tack, aren't you?
I'm asking about I'm asking about other deleted scenes. Actually, you said there were other. I'm just curious, what other scenes were deleted from the final cut that would have been interesting? You think?
Well, most of the stuff that we know of that was cut that we remember was the tack stuff with Dib and Tack as they're flying through space to get to the space prison. There was like a couple of scenes there that they cut, right?
Well, Jonas said that the distraction that the ship causes that lets them escape was that the ship was letting Tack out of the prison, but
Right.
they weren't able to get that done, so that got cut out. It wasn't that it got cut out; it never got animated. There was some storyboarding for it, but it never got made.
I don't remember a lot of big scenes that were cut as much as there were lines cut for time, but other than that.
I was just curious because a lot of films they'll cut whole scenes.
Yeah,
out.
well, there was the tack is the only whole scene that I'm aware of. You?
I don't know anyone else, but again, they didn't get a chance to even film it. It was just
Yeah.
storyboarded.
Well, we did record it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like I said, that would have been interesting. Let's do much like listening to the recordings for your episode of Mini Moose.
Yes. Yes, Minnie
right.
Mouse. He was there the whole time.
The whole time.
The whole time.
Oh God, I'm too tall for this. So I was wondering, this is kind of more for Richard, what it's like to have fans. Sorry, it's related to a show he did recently.
Oh, what a thrill when the crimson starts to spill.
That.
And my Millie goes in for the kill. Yes.
So I was wondering what it's kind of like to have fans who, when we were really small, we grew up with you as Invader Zim, and you have such a very iconic voice that when we hear it, it's, that's
my God,
Invader
that's Zim, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then now we're older and we're watching things, for example, like Hell of a Boss, and all of a sudden that comes out and it's like, oh, it's Invader Zim, and he's swearing.
Yes.
So what is it like having fans that
Well, I
grew
love
up
that.
with you
I
like
love that
this?
people are always amazed that I swear. You should live in my house because no one would be amazed then.
Yeah. Try just answering your phone.
Yeah. When he answers the phone,
Oh,
what
it's Richard.
It's interesting because every generation knows you from something different. So going from like the smallest generation, people will say, "Oh, that's Alpha 5," or that's Daggett, and they're grown now and they have children, and now that children knows maybe Invader Zim, and so then from then you do Skylanders, and so if you'll see a lot of those comments are like, he sounds like Chaos on the comments that they talk about Hell of a Boss.
Yeah.
But that's for people who didn't know Zim because they're younger, so they know me as Chaos. So it's nice because I can keep using that voice and no one will ever know the difference. So it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Cool.
And that was a fun gig. I love Vivzy Pop, Vivian Madrano. She's very super talented. So yeah, it was a lot of fun.
That's awesome. Thank
Thank
you.
you. Uh-huh.
Hey guys, thanks for being here. This is for both of y'all. Do you have either any particular favorite episodes of Invader Zim, and what are they?
The movie's my favorite episode.
Is that right?
It is, yes.
You like that more than Backseat Drivers?
Well, Backseat Drivers used to be my favorite episode. It
remember
still
that.
is way up there.
We
because
didn't
it
talk
has-
about this before because you've
ba-
always said it was Backseat Drivers.
Well, because then
so
the movie
now it's
happened.
Florpus?
Yeah.
Why
because-
is Florpus not
Because
your
Gir
favorite?
ate a baby.
Oh yeah, I did it. Yeah,
I ate
Gir-
a baby
he did.
there.
He did.
We couldn't say it's something like I ate a baby there
he did.
on the original series.
He did.
I think that's something that we could do now.
My favorite line of the Florpus was the. Of course not, Gir. It's a sign. It's a show of respect. Their stupid eyeballs can't handle all this. Yeah, it's-
I like when you say you accuse Dib of lying.
yeah, that one. It's like, you're ugly when you lie, Dib.
I'm not lying.
Then why are you ugly? That was an improvised line. That was an
Like classic vaudeville line.
classic, yeah, it was good. That was good. That happened on the spur of the moment because the line stopped before at, I'm not lying. And I just said, then why are you ugly? That was fun.
You should get writing credit.
I should get.
Yeah. You should.
What was the question?
Favorite episode?
Oh, my favorite episode is I have a couple. I love Rise of the Zip Boy. I love Walk of Doom, and I just love Ultra Pee Pee. Oh baby, pee pee! I just love saying pee pee. That was fun.
So how much input did you guys have on the script itself?
None.
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 We had input like on improvised lines and stuff. If we made a blooper, a lot of times the blooper would go in instead of the line.
Oh, okay.
Like in the pilot episode, it was the line was written, "Invaders' blood marches through my veins like giant radioactive rubber ants," and I accidentally said rubber pants. And so Jonah said, "I like that. Let's make it like rubber pants." And
So the accidents go in.
yeah, sometimes, a lot of times, yeah.
Or he'll just Jonan usually has a very specific idea of what he wants done, and then we try to do it, but we don't always match it exactly, and it's kind of like a screw up that he likes, and so then he starts to workshop that screw up, and then it becomes the new way of doing it. So we input by just having a different perspective on how it's done, either by accident or on purpose. So.
That's interesting. I just didn't know if you ever came across, a line that you're like, oh, Zim wouldn't say this.
Oh, we never say that to Jonan. There would be like a trap door that would open immediately under our feet to like razor blades, sharks, and lasers all at once.
And then we just fall in the dark and someone would punch us in the neck.
And then he would activate our clones, and then he would start all over
So
again.
am I talking to a clone right now?
I'm number 34.
Yeah, I remember 33. I like that one.
Good to know. Next question.
What was the conditions for filming Invader Zim?
It was
Squalid.
it was very snowy.
Yeah.
We were hungry,
Yeah. We were out in the forest, and there were wolves.
which
and,
we hired.
Yeah, Richard's 17th clone was eaten
Yes,
one time.
yes, because that wolf smelled urine.
Yeah.
Yes,
Which was mine, sorry.
which he is, but I got eaten.
Right.
The conditions were we were just in a neat studio in Burbank, California, and it was a large studio, and we had a lot of fun, and we had no idea what was going on after we recorded in there because it was just so much fun, and then it went out into the world, and it wasn't for a year that we realized that people were really responding to the show. Very good question. Thank you.
Did you record together or separately?
Together.
Together? Okay.
Holding hands.
I would hope so.
Peace is nice.
Peace is nice. Peace is better than chicken and rice.
Peace, peace, peace.
Nice, nice, nice.
Peace, peace, chicken, chicken,
rice, rice, rice.
That deserves a round of applause, yes.
Yeah, so we know eventually everything will be owned by Disney. So do you by chance have like a spin on Invader Zim that you would pitch to try to get Disney to show your show?
Well, first I would.
Gir is sleeping and will not wake up, and he's in a glass coffin.
Right. I would genetically engineer my blood so it's not in the shape of Mickey heads.
Yes. And they're just hidden all over the
Yeah.
Irkin
I'd be like,
world.
huh? Like that. Just walk up to some executive at Disney and go, like, what? Like that.
Bam.
So until he notices the platelets in my blood. Mickey shape.
Bam, 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 bam,
Oh, yeah.
I am Zim.
Stirwares.
Steers. Irk Wars.
Irk Wars.
Irk Wars. The answer is no, we do not.
So, what was your reaction to Invader Zim kind of blowing up the way it did at the time? Like, you're like, okay, I'm just gonna, voice this character in Nickelodeon, and then you see a bunch of teenagers with flat iron fringes, black skinny jeans, and Gir shirts, and you're like,
That coincidentally is how Rikki used to dress, so
I was-
it's perfect.
I was a goth in the 90s. I met my wife at 1990. We were both spooky goths. So
Do your goth dance.
I can't do it here. I'm sitting.
All right.
So that's my people talking about there. Goths. I'm just bright. I'm a pastel goth now.
My reaction was, what the?
Yeah, Richard went from loving Cher. Now he's all in the Bauhaus.
GMC's Tramps and Thieves.
Now he's all into the Cure and Bauhaus. Yeah. we changed him.
It's my goth dance.
It's good.
Should we do the goth dance?
I am sitting.
I'll do the goth dance.
All right.
I'd like to see it.
Yeah, go ahead. All right. Make the tea. Pour the tea. Drop the tea tray. You get attacked by a bat. Get attacked by a bat. Yeah, grab the bat. Yeah, fight the bat. Yeah. Throw the bat down. Feel bad about the bat. Yeah, there you go. It's his goth dance, everybody.
all right, thank you.
You forgot to serve the tea.
Oh, I forgot. Didn't I serve the tea? Oh, pick the cobwebs. Yeah. Oh, now look what you did. That's why I didn't do it.
That's part of the dance.
Yeah, that's why I didn't do it.
Testing. It works. It works.
I value their equipment. Richard
Yes.
doesn't care.
Now, back in when Invader Zim first came out, did you ever get to go to like Universal Studios, and did they have the Nickelodeon Studios at Universal at the
Oh,
time?
no, they didn't have them at our Universal. They did have them in Florida. And there's like a whole tribute to the Zim thing, but I've never saw it. We just saw it in
Viacom
pictures.
owns Nickelodeon, but it also owns. Did it also own Universal? I don't know who owns anybody anymore. Everyone's owned by something now. They're all owned by Disney. Viacom's probably owned by Disney right now. It
I
must
just didn't know if you got to do like any cool events
Oh
back
no.
in the day.
No.
No.
No, Nickelodeon just goes, oh, is that still around? Oh. When's lunch?
So do you? I'm just kind of curious about the whole process here. Invader Zim getting canceled.
Uh-huh.
Was that
Bring back
more?
a painful memory. That's fine. Yeah, go ahead.
My apologies.
Right.
Was that a ratings issue?
Yeah, kind of, but also their
Yeah.
fault.
Well, it was definitely a ratings issue.
And definitely their fault.
Definitely their fault.
It was definitely a money issue. We
Yeah.
we had been the most expensive
Yeah.
animated show in the
Which
history
was their
of
fault, too, because
Nickelodeon.
they let us have the money.
Yeah. But ultimately, we didn't have the ratings. We premiered the same night as Fairly Odd Parents, and it just we weren't the same demographic.
I was going to say that's two
They-
different demographics.
They thought we were going to be the same demographic as Fairly Odd Parents. And
They
when-
clearly never read Johnny
and
the
they-
Homicidal
yeah,
Maniac.
They hadn't actually. They had not read it. So when we weren't getting the viewership for the age group they thought it was going to have, and they did not have any way of tracking the viewership for people who were actually the age of people watching it, they decided that the ratings weren't high enough.
What?
What age group did they think you were going to be?
Like
6
5 to 7.
6 to
you know.
10.
Yeah,
6
to Really?
10,
Yeah, it was very young. That's true. It was a very young, skewed poll that they put together, and when they sell a show, they sell it based on the advertising that's geared towards whatever audience is watching it. So if the advertisers think, oh, there's nobody watching my ads for the age group that I sell to, then I don't want it on the show, and that kills the ratings. So
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Would you say Dark?
Hi.
Would you say Dark Harvest is kind of disturbing for a Nickelodeon kids show?
What kind? Well, it depends. What kind of kids watching?
Good question.
I think there's plenty of serial killers that are watching Nickelodeon.
I thought that it was a little dark, but I loved it. It's one of my favorite episodes. I think it's so scary, even when I watch it now. Like when you see the tiles on the school ceiling going. Thump, 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 thump,
Yeah, I wet myself.
But you do that normally.
I know, but
You
I
just
did
did right now.
Too.
You know, he means right now. He just wet
Exactly,
himself.
right then, yeah. Oh, yeah, it was a little scary in some parts, but I'd read the script, so I was okay. I knew it was coming.
You never read the script.
I did. I had to. They made me.
You didn't read the
Yeah.
scripts.
I actually read the script for you.
I never read them.
I know.
I find them
I
to be an
remember
actor's
that.
crutch. But their script is an actor's crutch.
Even when you do stage plays, like I'm not reading
I'm
this
not doing
script.
this. I'll become
I will do
I'll
this how I
become too
want.
self-reliant on other people's words.
Sir, this is Othello.
Oh. So,
Well, it's just you're doing 12 Angry Men.
if I want to, I don't want to be reliant on William Billy Shakespeare. Who's he anyway?
We call him Wild Willy in the day.
What's he gonna do? He's not around. He can't sue
Right.
me.
It's true. You can do what you want.
Yeah.
He's dead.
Who needs a script?
Yeah.
Who needs a script?
That's so old-fashioned anyway,
I
right?
know.
Next question.
So this is sort of a silly question, but I was just wondering, in Enter the Florpus, the line about needing a soothing lozenge, if that was in the script or if that was
I think it
improvised?
was in the script.
I think it was in the script, but
Okay.
there were some soothing lozenges that were happening at that time.
Yeah, I was handing
So-
out soothing lozenges to everyone.
Yeah.
So
Which weren't that soothing, actually.
they were soothing.
No, they were terrible.
They were soothing.
No, there were these weird.
No, they were Hanukkah lemon honey.
This
Hanukkah.
like $80 lemon,
Yeah.
$80 bees. Bees walking around wearing like
Manuka honey.
expensive shorts.
Manuka
because
honey.
some guys like
They were
paying
Manuka
$80
honey.
for their.
And I don't know
their
what
honey.
Ricky's saying, but I'm going to talk over him till he realizes they were good lozenges.
They taste like butt.
Manuka. They taste like what?
Butter.
Oh. If you think it's butter, but it's not. It's Manuka honey.
Manuka. I don't want to eat anything called Manuka
Why?
because it sounds like a bee is wearing too expensive shorts. Next question.
Like cargo lozenges.
Do you ever catch yourself in character in like real life situations or conversations?
No.
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 Not me.
No.
Not really. Not really, but it's a good question. Thank you.
How about, have you ever seen somebody wearing like an Invader Zim t-shirt or something and you kind of just creep
I
up to them?
immediately black out.
Disneyland a lot. They see a lot of people in Gir hoodies.
I immediately black out, and then I'm closing the trunk on a body again. I'm like, what happened here? I don't know what's going on. Gotta go out to the dump.
We were somewhere. We saw somebody doing something.
Oh, that time?
Yeah.
I remember. I just remember the screams.
That's a good story.
Yeah. Thanks.
So you will do the voice if you every once in a while if you see somebody.
Well, that's his voice.
But sometimes people.
Yeah.
Sometimes we'll go up and I'll say, you know who he is? He's like Gir. Or we'll go, he's Zim, and they'll go, no, he's not.
Yeah.
Like, yes, he is.
And a kick
no,
right to
he's
the
not.
shin.
And then they walk away.
Yeah.
Like we're like, oh yeah.
Yeah. And then blackout, drunk, dump.
Next question.
You guys mentioned Rick and Morty earlier, and I was wondering because they're kind of similar shows in a way. If Rick and Morty told you, "Hey, I want Invader Zim in Rick and Morty," how do you think that would go?
It would go like this. Hey, Rick. Hey, hello, Zim. Hello, Morty. Okay, scene.
It'd be hard to imagine them doing that, though. It'd be so out of character for them to feel joy.
Yeah. On
They
either
don't know our pleasures. the goodness of what?
I don't think they're interested in your pleasures.
Oh,
They might be.
Yeah, Ricky, what are your pleasures? What is this? He likes to play Pass the Orange. Remember that game? Pass the Orange. Remember, like, birthday parties when you're a kid, you put an orange in it? Like, anyone? What? You don't know that game?
I remember that, but I don't
Yeah.
think it's done anymore.
I don't think it's done. They
lived-
did it in
I
my
lived-
generation.
I lived near an orange grove when I was a kid, and we would have orange fights. One kid
Orange
lost-
fight.
People were just, no, those were
We-
baseballs,
we
and they
would
were
just
pelting
throw
you with
oranges
them.
at each other like they were snowballs. One kid lost an eye. It's all right.
I feel like that would hurt.
Yeah, he lost an eye.
Wait, did he really lose an eye?
A kid lost an eye on my block. Yeah. Those oranges
that's a
really
true story.
sell.
And plus the citrus, that stain.
How
Yeah,
did the
sure.
eye pop out? Because it's like a
No, I
round
like pushed it in, and then
Oh,
he was,
it
and then,
went in. Okay.
and then he was
alright.
blind in the eye for life after that.
Awesome.
I assume.
Cool.
Yeah, I just remember there was a big lawsuit in the neighborhood. It wasn't me.
Sure it was.
I was a bad shot.
No. I throw grapefruits. That was definitely an orange.
Yeah, I should throw oranges.
Yeah, you
it was an orange grove.
Yeah, it was lemons.
That orange grove's not there
Well,
anymore
you know
though,
what
so
they say,
everybody's
if you lose
safe.
an eye, make lemonade.
Really?
Yeah.
Why would they do that?
I was gonna say, yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard that before. Totally.
Because you're now afraid of oranges.
Not at all.
Oh,
I'm not afraid of an orange.
you're afraid of an orange. What if I like took an orange, cut it in half, put a rock in it, and threw it at your head?
Still not afraid.
All right.
You know, you should.
Because I know you can't throw. So I'm not worried about
What
it.
if I bought a wrist rocket?
Ah,
I used to have one of those.
a wrist rocket?
What is
Wrist
it?
rocket is a slingshot that fits around your wrist. You can pull it to the length of your arm, and you can put a maraschino cherry in there.
I know that you would
and
just like
find some
snap
kid you
punch
don't
your head
like,
back.
and
You
then
do this, Ricky.
and
You'd
then
be
run really
and
fast.
Hit yourself. Hit yourself in the head because the rubber band would snap.
No, I was good with that.
That's a real thing.
Is that when you served?
Look up wrist rocket.
Wrist rocket.
Yeah, we had them in you know, in the 70s, we were kids. We didn't have laws or rules. We do whatever we want. People invented death later. It was healed right up. Throw lawn darts at each other and give a lawn dart to a squirrel. Go ahead, kill for me.
So you
fine.
would command squirrels to kill for you.
Sure, it's what we all did. You remember. Children loved it back then. We didn't have bicycle helmets. We had inverted bicycle helmets, so we had more damage when we crashed. Next question.
Stories of the past. Go ahead.
So Gir and Zim, you've both been here a while now. When's the Armada coming to finish the job on us?
Oh.
5 minutes?
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
kind
about
of
5 minutes. Better enjoy this. Better be a good last question.
8:22 p.m.
8:22 p.m.
Can
Yeah.
I join the Invader squad? Keep myself safe? Help
No.
y'all out?
No, it's
no,
not
no,
up to us.
You're too tall. You're too tall.
Yeah,
Too tall.
Thank you all.
Yeah, just have lots of snacks on you. You'd be okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, I can go.
Yeah,
Awesome.
go ahead.
Hi.
Yeah, I just realized that he said what? There's two. I'm the last question, am I?
Apparently so. I don't see anyone else out.
Yeah,
is
last
this one
question.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah,
I've gotta
yes, it's
ask
our
you.
last one.
It has to be
Everybody-
good.
it's- yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
don't mess it up.
Okay, good.
I have to ask you.
Yes.
Are you?
Nope. Next question.
No. Are you gonna sing the Doom song now?
Oh, God, no.
That's 6 months long.
We've got time.
I just finished it the other day, and it was like 6 months of this.
But I missed it.
Yeah, oh, here's a brief iTunes preview version.
But remember, you just could not remember the lyrics.
It goes.
And that's what took
It
6
goes.
months.
Peace is nice. Peace is nice. Doom 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 doom. Like that.
Good last question. I want to know before we head out here, is there any projects that you're working on right now that you'd like people to know about, check out? Anything at all?
Well, Psychonauts 2 will be coming out very soon, yes. Destroy All Humans Remaster will be coming out. I continue to do work on The Loud House on Nickelodeon. And other than that, oh yeah, more Hell of a Boss. There'll be more Hell of a Boss. That's what Ricky's cat sounds like, Pippi.
No, she's more like. I have a mean polydactyl cat that I love
Yeah.
so much.
It's got 17 toes on
No,
one
she's
foot.
got 13. She's got 7 on one, 6 on the other. That's 13, mister.
And
She will cut you.
5 of them.
My project is I'm mostly just working on therapy for my cat.
Yes. This cat
I
is
do have
crazy.
a
This cat is
book
crazy.
that I've been writing called Absinthium Kingdom. It's about a man named Fubsy Pot Valiant who lives in a city of surrealists hidden in the Antarctic with his cat Dolly. And I have 2 episodes that I have sort of done an audiobook radio play with all the music I did myself and the voices I did myself and the writing I did myself. And if you go to my Twitter account, Rikki Simons on Twitter, it'll take you a link to the first 2 episodes that I have up that are the first 2 chapters of the book. And I'm still working on that. So
Make sure you check them out. And also, please don't forget to go check them out at their booth downstairs.
I'm also doing a webcomic with my cat, my wife, Tavisha, about our cats at Go Comics. It's called Tavi Cat. Go to gocomics.com/TaviCat. TAVICAT. TAV is in Victor. CI is Tavi Cat. Anyways, it's all stories about our cats, and they're totally true.
And
who
come see
doesn't
us at
love
our
cats?
booth.
Yes, go see them at their booth. They're here
Okay.
all weekend. Everybody, please,
Thank you,
once
everyone.
give a big
you.
round of applause to Richard Horvitz and Rikki Simons.